February 6, 2011, Aaron Rodgers led the Green Bay Packers to a victory in Super Bowl 45. The game changed his life, but not for the reasons you might think. He had ascended the mountaintop of his sport, silencing the doubters whose skepticism he had long used as motivation. But when he reflected on everything he had accomplished, he was surprised to realize he was still searching for something else. He sat on the bus, surrounded by his teammates as they passed around the Lombardi Trophy, and thought to himself, "I hope I don't just do this." Since that day, Aaron Rodgers has been quietly evolving in plain sight. His personal journey began with his faith. I think in people's lives who grew up in some sort of organized religion, there really comes a time when you start to question things more, he says. It happens for some at an early age. Others, maybe a little older. That happened to me 6 or 7 years ago. Growing up, Rodgers attended a traditional church. But as he entered his late 20s, he began to confront the lessons of his youth. He became acquainted with the work of a progressive pastor named Rob Bell, and after he won the Super Bowl, the two men spent a great deal of time talking about what Rodgers experienced on that bus, how he felt or didn't feel, and his realization that absolute success didn't give him inner peace. I think questions like that in your mind lead to really beautiful periods where you start to grow as a person, he says. And I think organized religion can have a mind-debilitating effect because there is an exclusivity that can shut you out from being open to the world, to people, and energy, and love, and acceptance. As Rodgers' views on his faith began to shift, he grew increasingly convinced that the beliefs he had internalized were wrong, that spirituality could be far more inclusive and less literal than he had been taught. He says he changed his narrow-minded views about the world and his place in it, and spent more time thinking about his life off the field. And while he is still intensely private, he has slowly begun to open up, sharing bits and pieces of himself with the aim of being better understood. He wants to remind people, he says, that there's more to me than football. Since winning the Super Bowl 6 years ago, Rodgers has not returned to the big game. While he has soared to individual heights, making 6 Pro Bowls and stunning the league with jaw-dropping Hail Marys and game-saving throws, his sole championship appearance has become a flashpoint for debate, enabling his critics to ask, can a quarterback with just 1 ring be legendary?
Okay, the answer is yes, he's overrated. You want that? Because that's the truth. Playoff record for Aaron Rodgers, 9-7.
It's a common question, but it isn't the one that Rodgers has been wrestling with over the last 6 years. He says he dreams of returning to the Super Bowl, but he isn't afraid of a future where he doesn't go back. Instead, he has been searching for meaning outside of his sport, a process that has brought him closer to the fulfillment he sought so long ago. Paradoxically, he says, it's also made him a better player. Why? Because I'm not obsessing over a ball.